Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jump, and today I'll be ranking every single boss from Breath of the Wild from worst to best. Now, Breath of the Wild, in terms of its bosses, are kind of okay, I would say, and when you compare them to other bosses in the other Zelda games, they're kind of lackluster, because you've got bosses like Koloktos, Ganondorf from Ocarina of Time, Zant, and various other bosses that have really cool fights. And with Breath of the Wild, they're okay, they're fun, but they're kind of, I would say, kind of easy to do if you know what you're doing. And yeah, and today I'm just be going over some of my favourites, and I will also be including the monk Maz Koisha from the Champion's Ballad in this list, mainly because is kind of a part of the DLC kind of ish, and he's like kind of a part of the main story if you bought the DLC. So yeah. So and also this list we'll be going from 6 being the worst and to 1 being the best. So for number 6 is both Calamity Ganon as well as Dark Beast Gallon. Now the reason why I put these two bosses as I would say the worst boss in the game is mainly because they are kind of easy to fight against. Because if you play through the entire game normally and you feel the divine beasts, when you get to Hyrule Castle and face Calamity Ganon, all of the divine beasts will drain Ganon of half his health, and I feel like that's quite easy. And then when it comes to Dark Beast Gallon, it's just basically Zelda gives you the Bow of Light, and you have to hit specific parts of Dark Beast Gallon's body, and yeah, that's kind of not it's kind of easy to do if you get like the right equipment, if you have a lot of hearts and stuff like that, and if you have like a stat buff to help you out if you want to. So I'll say out of all the bosses, both Calamity Ganon and Dark Beast Gallon are quite easy, and I would say it's a bit harder if you're trying to do speed runs, because if you're doing a speed run, let's say, and when you get to Hyrule Castle and start fighting, or getting to the area where you fight Calamity Ganon, you will be faced with the main 4 blights before you fight Calamity Ganon, and I would say fighting all of those 4 bosses as well as Calamity Ganon and Dark Beast Gallon all at once, one after the other, is a lot harder, because you're probably using up a lot of good weapons, B, you don't have that many hearts, and 3, because the divine beasts aren't freed, they won't drain Calamity Ganon off his health. So yeah, that's kind of harder, but I would say if you play the game normally, both Calamity Ganon and Dark Beast Ganon are quite easy to fight. For number 5 is Fireblade Gannon. Now with Fireblade Gannon, he kind of reminds me of King Dodongo a bit in his second phase, and I would say out of the 4 blights, he's the easiest to face, I would say, because you can just basically use the area around you, and I do like how you have to basically try and use your remote bombs against him instead of your normal bomb arrows, because the area in Elden Volcano will just make them explode. So that's one thing to consider, but I would say you don't really need the bomb arrows technically to fight Fireblade Gannon or any of the blights, but they are there to be used. And with Fireblade Gannon, he really does anything. He kind of throws fireballs at you, and ignites his fire sword blade thing, and he can also throw a giant fireball at you, and that's kind of it. And it would have been better if he had done more things, but yeah, I don't really like Fireblade Gannon. It's a bit too easy and a bit boring as well, because it's just like, just hit him with, you know, the Master Sword or any of your weapons, or hit him with ancient arrows, and that's kind of it. He's kind of easy to fight. For number 4 is Winterblade Gannon. Now with Winterblade Gannon, he's, I would say, a lot more tougher than Fireblade Gannon, mainly because he can summon these projectile propeller things, as well as summon tornadoes, and he has a sort of laser gun attached to him, and I would say he's a lot tougher than Fireblade Gannon, just because he has to think of how to use the area around you, whereas if you fight Fireblade Gannon, it's just deflecting the fireballs and stuff like that, or hitting him with a remote bomb. Whereas with Winterblade Gallon, you can either hit the propeller things to stop him from firing up an attack, or dodging the tornadoes that he summons, and stuff like that. And I think he's a lot more aggressive in its attacks over Fireblade Gallon, just because of how much attacks he can do and how much damage he can deal you. I will say that he's I'd say more of a challenge than Fireblade Gallon. For number 3 is Waterblade Gallon. Now with Waterblade Gallon, I would say that he is probably he's a very interesting boss, I would say, because he's because of the location that he's in, that being Ruta, he uses like with the other bosses, the area around him, that being sort of the control room, and in his second phase, he basically raises the water level up, and I would say that's really interesting, I would say, because that gives you a lot less room to work in, if you compare it to the other fights in the Divine Beasts, because not only do you have to try and stop him from hitting you with his attacks like his spear, his own made icicle attacks, but you also have to hit him as well. So I would say if you're going to fight Waterblade Gallon and you get to the second phase, I would say try and aim for his eye, and then use status plus on him, and then hit him with your weapons, because I think that will be a lot easier than just attacking him from afar. That's how I've fought the Waterblade Gallon, and yeah, I would say the use of the terrain and the area around him is quite interesting, and it's quite fun when it's not just fireballs and stuff like that. So yeah, for number 2 is Thunderblade Gallon. Now out of all of the blights, I would say that Thunderblight is very tough, especially when I fought him the first time in Van Boris. And I would say for Thunderblade Gallon, don't come underprepared. Make sure that you are well prepared to fight Thunderblade Gallon, because out of all of the other blights, he is the quickest blight out of the 4, because I think at the start of the fight, at the very beginning, he will just race towards you and then just hit you if you're not prepared to deflect, and then during the second phase he will electrify both his sword and shield, and then he'll summon lightning rods. So I would say for both the first and second phase, make sure you're well prepared and you have enough weapons and bows and stuff like that, just so you can have a chance of fighting off Thunderblade Gallon. Because if you're not prepared, if you're like underprepared, if you have like a few weapons and a few bows and stuff like that, you probably won't do that much to him, I would say, and you might just get one hit KO'd by him, and that's how I remember the fight a lot of the time. And so yeah, to make sure when you're fighting Thunderblade Gallon, make sure to have enough hearts and weapons and bows and stuff like that. And for number 1 is Monk Mads Koshia. I think that's how you pronounce that. I think that's how you pronounce the second name. And this is basically the true final boss of Breath of the Wild, just because if you compare Maz to both Calamity and Dark Beast Ganon, Monk Maz is 100 times more tougher than Calamity Gallon, just because it takes a lot longer to deal any damage to the monk, whereas with Calamity Gallon it feels easy, especially if you haven't got any of the Divine Beasts freed. And I would say with Monk Maz Kyoshia, he has a lot of phases, like he can grow large, he can summon duplicates and stuff like that. So I would say, again, like with Thunderblade Gallon, prepare yourself, get enough heart, stamina, weapons, bows, that kind of thing, because this fight is a tough one. And luckily, once you beat him, you will get the Master Cycle 0, which I think is a good reward in of itself, because of how difficult the fight with the monk is. And even though you only get the Master Cycle 0 to maybe find some more shrines or corpses and stuff like that, the Cycle 0 is still enjoyable reward that you get over than, oh, you just beat Calamity Ganon and that's the game. So yeah, so I would say the Monk Maz fight is a very fun and enjoyable boss fight, and I think it's a lot better than the Calamity Ganon fight. So that's been my that's me ranking all of the Breath of the Wild bosses. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.